What's up, everybody? This is Bryce Kenny, driver of the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior Monster Jam truck, and I am here with the man, the myth, the legend, downtown Randy Brown, driver of Gravedigger and our 2020 Arena Series champion. What is up, Randy? How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
It's been trying times what we're going through right now, and just to be able to talk to you, it's awesome.
I know you're probably like stuck at home talking to your teddy bear on your bed or something like that. So now having an interaction, this is going to do us both really good.
That's right. That's right.
What are you doing, by the way, man? You're quarantined. You're on lockdown. What you got going on out there?
Believe it or not, this is like the first March I've ever been home for anything. So I'm catching up on a lot of housework. We're doing some remodeling and things like that, and trust me, my wife and my daughters are taking full advantage of me being home.
You seem like the kind of person that would be good at housework too, and but like the cool housework, like building a deck or something like that.
That's me. That's me, man.
Is that you?
That's me. I will remodel a bathroom. I will do anything. I lay tile. I love doing all of it.
So that's my problem. I can do stuff like I can do like the grunt work. But if I have to wire something, electrical stuff, I'm toast. I can't do anything like that. So
nothing to it. It's just all color coded. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I love the trophies behind you, by the way. Crash Madness, that trophy, I think, has got to be – that's where the downtown Randy Brown nickname kind of started. And I think it honestly started from a couple of the other drivers just calling you that because that was one of the most craziest of crashes I've seen in quite some time. I know that you're not right in the head because of the way that I see you drive that Gravedigger truck. But, man, I not only do I love seeing that trophy, but the fact that I get to be the first one in person to congratulate you on this championship. How does it feel, man? You've been doing this a long time. You've been driving over 20 years. Do you still get those butterflies in your stomach after you win, or has some of that magic kind of fallen off a little bit over the years?
Well, first off, it's definitely good, to have you interviewing me, man. This is a long time coming. And but yeah, every time I get in the truck, I still get butterflies. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I want to do so well for all the fans and everything that I just want to win so bad that there's always that little grumbling in my stomach that just wonders what's going to happen. But once the truck fires up and I'm out there, I feel like I'm in my element. I love what I do, so there's no pressure once I'm out there. And if every championship now from this point on, it just seems like it's getting harder and harder. So therefore, I think I appreciate it a lot more because of the competition level keeps going higher and higher with Monster Jam. That you can't take anything for granted. You never know who's going to win a championship. You never know who's going to win a overall weekend for the show. So just to bring another one home, it means the world to me. It really does.
Well, and what's kind of interesting too is I would say the biggest competitor that you had on your tour was Lindsey Reed, who is our reigning World Finals freestyle champion from 2019. There had to have been a lot of pressure on her. The saying of heavy is the head that wears the crown. Right. And she's been wearing that crown now for 10 months. And she's going to end up wearing it a little bit longer as well since Monster Jam World Finals ultimately got canceled. We're going to talk about that in just a minute because I want to get your opinion. But in thinking about going up against Lindsey Reed, I know you guys have a really healthy rivalry between each other. But was there a little bit extra motivation to take her out because she was the reigning World Finals freestyle champion?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can tell in our point series that she came out with guns a-blazing. She really wanted to get that championship to go along with the World Finals Freestyle Championship. So, and it was up to me to keep her from doing that, So I'm not saying we took her lightly. I just don't think I was really prepared for the performance level that was coming out for our Arena Championship. You had guys like Zach Garner, Brandon Telechka, Kalen Mingus, who was in the World Finals last year. Darren Mingus, her dad, Mark Hall and Kurt Kramer, all of them. I never realized how high the competition level could get in this Arena Series until they came on board this year. And, and like I said, Lindsey, not to take anything away from her, she came out with guns a-blazing, and I knew she wanted it bad. But all these young kids that came on this year with like Brandon and Zach, I was so impressed. I became the biggest fan for the Arena Championship Series that we had because of what they were doing, and I felt honored to be a part of them growing into the sport, and kind of passing the torch, so to speak, to watch them excel, and they will be champions one day, I guarantee you.
Well, I think what's amazing, you and Lindsey Reed both kind of switched off your points lead multiple times as the season went along. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think only 22 points was ultimately the lead that got the championship. That's less than a full event. When she would go out there and lay down one of those performances, here you are, you're in Gravedigger, right? You are the Gravedigger driver in that arena. Did you feel more pressure to beat Lindsey, or did you feel more pressure to represent for Gravedigger? Because that is a full-time job in and of itself, just to make sure that you're living up to that Gravedigger name. What kind of took precedence for you each weekend going against Lindsey Reed?
Well, what always takes precedent for me is representing the Gravedigger name, going out there and giving the fans what they expect to see from that Gravedigger truck. So Lindsey was, I definitely wanted to beat her, there's no doubt. And she was laying great runs down every single weekend. I just had to go out there and give it a little bit more. And it wasn't just one run. You had to give everything between racing, two-wheel skills, donuts. You had to bring the whole package together, and it was and at one point, a point this season, she actually started becoming last in freestyle, which is something totally different for me. So I'm not saying it took pressure off of me, but it put a lot more pressure on her to know that she was closing the show. This is what the Monster Jam fans were going to see, at the end of our show, and it put a lot more pressure on her. So I could go out there and just kind of let my hair down and have fun, and knowing that she was behind me to close the show. And I think it worked out to my advantage a little bit.
Now, it's interesting, too, because I think a lot of drivers, especially a veteran like yourself, been doing this over 20 years, there are some drivers out there that want to close out freestyle. They want to be the last truck because they see what's in front of them and they know what they have to go and do and the level at which they have to go and run. But just to your point, Lindsey started closing out a lot of the shows at the end of the season. Was that part, in terms of something that you have been able to do over the last 20 years, if you could, control the order, did you want to go last, or was it a little bit of a pressure relief that you did get to go before her?
It was a little bit of a pressure relief. I don't know why, other than just, I always, my biggest fear is getting out there, being last in freestyle, and the truck break early. Something goes wrong, and I just don't feel like the fans got the time that they paid for me to be out there, and knowing that at the end of that, they were going home. Even though I never heard a disappointing thing from the fans, because they realize what these Monster Jam trucks go through. They realize breakage is going to happen. But knowing that there was a truck behind me to pick up the slack, and I learned that a lot a couple of years ago with the Stadium Series when me and Ryan were together. And you change your format every week based on how you did the week before. So I kind of got used to not closing a show. Some shows I did close, some I didn't. But it does take a little bit of pressure off of you when this is not the last thing these people are going to see. There's somebody out there that can redeem you if you do go out there and mess up. So as much as I do love going last and putting on a great freestyle and being that one that they say, wow, that just happened, I can do it from the next to the last position just as easy.
Yeah, that's right. Well, what's pretty interesting that I don't even know if you knew this, but of course, Monster Jam introduced the power rankings this season. And the top 10 in the power rankings, they were shifting around all season long. Did you pay a lot of attention to that? And that list, were you watching every Monday, or I think it came out on every Wednesday, but were you watching every week to see if you kind of crept into that or not?
Yeah, I did. Actually, when it started out, I was curious to see how it all was going to play out, and where the arena drivers were going to, if they were going to get up there with the stadium drivers and things like that, what they paid more attention to. And then Charleston, West Virginia, I got a perfect score at a show there. I won every event, and the only one of the season, and I still didn't get the power rankings. So I thought to myself, I'm not going to be able to figure this out. I don't know what it's going to take to get in there, but evidently I don't have it right now. So after that, I just kind of didn't pay much more attention to it.
Well, I will say this, and I think this was kind of a shocking statistic when I saw it, but out of the 7 tour champions that ultimately won their series this year, you were actually the only one out of those 7 that were not in the top 10 at the end of the year. And that was very surprising to me as well. And because you and I don't really understand the computer side of the background information on what actually gets those people into the top 10, I do know that it's based on numbers. Why do you think ultimately you weren't in in that top 10 power rankings? Was it because it was all arenas? Was it the types of shows for some reason? Was it, that you weren't getting enough points? Or was it the fact that you and Lindsay were splitting points so much, so often as the year went along? What would you attribute it to? Because that's such an odd statistic that you wouldn't be in the top 10 of the Monster Jam power rankings, and yet you won your series.
Yeah, I don't really have a good answer for that other than I guess I don't know exactly how it was working, how they were picking their top 10 from weekend to weekend. Because actually Lindsay did get in the top 10 at one point in time during first quarter. So, and like I said, after I had that good weekend, we found some problems on the truck and got them fixed, and things started clicking for us after that, and did really well and just never could bump in there. So at that point, I didn't know what it took to get into it. It did surprise me that I didn't make it at any point, just like you said, because I was the leader of the tour. But it meant I was doing something right. But I just evidently it wasn't a big enough impact to get me in the top 10. So we'll take it. Still got the championship. I'm still bringing the trophy back to the shop, and that at the end of the day, I think. I'm going to remember that championship more than I'm going to remember getting in the top 10 of the power rankings.
That's right. That's exactly right. And obviously we're all pretty heartbroken. The fact that Monster Jam World Finals got canceled ultimately. Did you have anything special in store up your sleeves heading into that? Or what was your overall reaction when you got that news, like the rest of us, that Monster Jam World Finals unfortunately was going to be canceled for 2020?
Yeah, well, unfortunately I got that news pretty much before I found out that I was the tour champion. So my first thought was, I wanted to get back to the World Finals. There's no doubt. I wanted to redeem myself from last year, that jump I made that ended my run a little bit early, but I was thoroughly disappointed, just like anybody else, and I think it was the right decision, for the circumstances that was going on. Obviously, they couldn't put on a good show with what we had to work with. So, I'm hoping to redeem myself next time it comes around. I don't know how they're going to do the invitation for the next one. If they'll skip our year, if we'll be brought back for next year. But who knows? Hopefully I'll be back for another tour season and get another championship, get back to the World Finals.
That's right. Well, I know a lot of fans. You are such a favorite among the Monster Jam fans, and you're a favorite among a lot of the drivers as well. I don't know anyone in the whole sport that isn't a Randy Brown fan, and I'm certainly one of them. So, man, congratulations on such an awesome season. I know it was a hard fought season, and ultimately to bring home that series championship, man, I know that was not an easy task. I know you're missing Monster Jam. I know the Monster Jam fans are missing you. Any final words you'd want to let all the fans know, or any parting words that you think to encourage them or whatever situation they're in? Because we're all in lockdown. I think we're all missing Monster Jam, but yeah, a little bit of a parting message from Mr. Downtown Randy Brown.
Hey, it's an honor to create so many friends and that I've had over 20 years of this sport. And guys like yourself that come in later in my career that I've been able to watch perform and move to the top. You guys right now, you're the cream of the crop. And we got so many coming up that are just that good that it makes me more of a fan than it does a driver. I love watching you guys and to be a part of such a sport that does that for the fans. It brings it up. It elevates it every year. And that's what you have to have. If you don't do that, fans are not going to be interested. And so, thanks to all my fans. Thank you to all the Monster Jam fans, not just my fans, but, all my competitors and everybody that's buckled down for this coronavirus. And we'll get through it. We'll come back and we'll be stronger than ever. And, the fans, they'll be there when we get done with this. I guarantee you. Monster Jam's not going anywhere. Gravedigger's not going anywhere. I'm definitely not going anywhere. So we'll all get it all mixed back up together and do it one more time.
Well, you are definitely one of those individuals that has elevated the sport of Monster Jam throughout your career. And you don't have to look anywhere past all of those incredible trophies that sit right behind your head to prove that fact. So we look forward to a lot more Crash Madness from you in years to come. But, man, congratulations again. And Monster Jam fans, catch Randy Brown on social media and all of the amazing places that we would love to continue to connect with you, because while Randy Brown and myself are kind of stuck here at the house, we want to engage with you guys. So, Randy, man, thanks for your time. Get back to that housework, the tile work. Go build a patio on the back of your house, whatever it is that Randy Brown does when he's in quarantine, okay?
I'm going to get to it, man.
All right, buddy. See ya.
Thank you.